All right. Welcome back to the channel, subscribers. Terence Bud Crawford needs to do a Deontay Wilder if this cat wants to sew up his legacy and be known as the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. There's a ton of pressure being put on him for fight with Shawn Porter, and he needs to accept that pressure and make it happen. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, special thank you to the new Patreons we've had join this week. Thank you guys so much for your support. We got new content coming out today. Also, we have content that I was supposed to put out yesterday that's coming out today, but it's going to be a new video. It's going to be informative and it'll add value to your life. Thank you to everybody who's a new member down here for hitting the member join button on the channel. Also, thank you to everybody that comes by OG Boxing Talk Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time for the live stream with me, my partner Blood Boxing, KQKC, Trap House Boxing, my man Curtis Anderson, the boxing historian. Now let's talk about this Terence Crawford, Shawn Porter fight. There has been a lot of pressure getting put on Terence Crawford in the wake of his fight against Egis Kalvanakis to make a fight with Shawn Porter. Terence Crawford, and I say this every video because I do believe this is true, I have him as my #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. This guy can fight without a doubt, and I always have to make sure I say it in the beginning of the video because unfortunately, that's not the only thing that is relevant to this guy in his career. Terence Crawford, I believe from what I can see in the ring and what I've seen out of him, is the best fighter, is the best all-around fighter in boxing. I do not believe that he is the best welterweight. And the reason that I do not believe that he is the best, there's two reasons why I don't believe that he's the top welterweight. Number one is styles make fights, and Terence Crawford has a lot of dog in him. And that, my friend, is going to run in sideways. That's going to cause him some problems with another guy that is a bigger dog and loves the type of fight that Terence Crawford reverts to whenever he gets hit. And that's Errol Spence Jr. Unfortunately, the Errol Spence Jr. fight is not on the immediate horizon because Errol Spence Jr., as far as we know right now, is injured. The second reason why there's the second thing that is relevant besides the fact that, I don't necessarily think he's the best welterweight, but the second thing outside of how great a fighter is, that is an issue is who he's actually fought. And there is a problem with that because Terence Crawford has not fought top level competition at 147 pounds. He has been the champion for going on 2 years now. He's had 4 title defenses. I did not have a problem with who he won the belt against. He can't pick that. I didn't like the second fight that he had, which I do believe was Jose Benavidez. I didn't like I didn't like the 2 voluntaries that he had, which is Jose Benavidez and Amir Khan. Jose Benavidez is, Terence Crawford can say he's undefeated all he wants. The guy went a long period of time inactive because he had a shotgun blast to the knee. Okay, it's just what it is. Same thing with Amir Khan. Amir Khan, trying to sell the idea that Amir Khan had never been knocked out at 147 pounds does not overcome the fact that he's been knocked out at 135, and he was knocked out at 135, then he was knocked out at 140, and then he was knocked out at 154, right? And now you complete it by having the fight end at 147. He'd already been knocked out 3 times, so wasn't particularly impressed with that. Have no problem with Egis Kalvanakis because Egis Kalvanakis is a mandatory, and everybody's got to fight their mandatory. So I don't have any problem with that fight. However, and this is the point of this video, if Terence Crawford really wants to solidify that, and my man Woolbag wants to be able to, say, hey, Terence Crawford's the baddest man on the planet. If my man Drink More Water wants to do that, hey, knock yourself out, but ask your boy to help you a little bit by doing what Deontay Wilder did, which was fight the best opposition that's available to him when the guy that is the quote unquote golden goose of the division is not willing to fight him. Now, in the case of Deontay Wilder, it's Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua wasn't fighting him. He didn't. My impression of the situation was Anthony Joshua didn't think that he needed Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder was not willing to sign his career away by signing with Eddie Hearn and fight, preliminary matches with Dillian White and do all kind of other stuff that Eddie Hearn and that promotional team want him to do. And actually, let me rephrase that. He was willing to do the monetary side of it. He wasn't willing to just sign his whole career away to Eddie Hearn. And I think that really was what kept Eddie Hearn from wanting to make that fight. Also, the fact that Eddie Hearn doesn't believe that Deontay Wilder could actually that Anthony Joshua could beat Deontay Wilder. But regardless, Deontay Wilder was in a situation where those guys wouldn't fight him. He wanted the fight. They wouldn't fight him. So what does he do? He fights Luis Ortiz and he fights Tyson Fury. By fighting Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury, he eliminates the argument that could be made that was being made about him not fighting anybody. And as a result of beating those two guys, knocking out Luis Ortiz twice, putting Tyson Fury flat on his back, knocking out Dominic Breazeale, in a mandatory, because like I said, I'm giving people credit for doing what they're supposed to do in mandatories. He now is in a position where, hey man, this cat is a big money dude in the heavyweight division, and he can afford to move where he wants to move. And Anthony Joshua and those guys, and he are now on even playing field if they're gonna make that fight. He didn't wait around for Anthony Joshua to make that fight. He went and fought the best available competition, and nobody can say that he didn't do that because Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury are that widely recognized as that. For Terence Crawford to get where Terence Crawford needs to get, that's what Terence Crawford needs to do. And that starts, in my opinion, with Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter is a top level welterweight. He is somebody that fought a close fight with Keith Thurman. He beat Danny Garcia. He beat Ugas. He had a very tough, very close fight with Errol Spence Jr. He had a close fight with Kell Brook. All of the guys that are considered to be top 147 pounders, Shawn Porter has already demonstrated that he belonged in the ring with them and at times was definitely given as good as he got and beat several of them. That is a higher status of fighter than Amir Khan, than David Benavidez, than Jose Benavidez, than Igis Kalvanakis, than Jeff Horn. Jeff, I held the belt for one fight. Right, he got a controversial win against Manny Pacquiao, and then he held his belt for one fight. And honestly, he had a hard time with Gary Cochran in the one fight that he defended his belt. Shawn Porter's had 2 reigns in the welterweight division, and they were all more than one fight. So Shawn Porter is the guy that he needs to go get. If you can't do that, you got to get your promoter to pay Danny Garcia to fight you. Pay one of these guys enough money. The Ugas, I'll take Ugas. If you can't get Shawn Porter for whatever reason, take Ordenis Ugas. Ordenis Ugas is somebody that people believe beat Shawn Porter. Many people believe that he beat Shawn Porter. That guy is there for Terence Crawford. But Terence Crawford he's got to take the initiative, and Bob Arum has to take the initiative to fight the guys that are available. To sit there and say they're just going to wait around until Errol Spence Jr. fights him, and then until then he's just going to do whatever. That's not going to bridge the gap between him and Errol Spence Jr. And I know people say, oh, this side of the street, that side of the street, that's nonsense. Okay. Hey, I agree that if 2 people want to fight and the 2 promoters want to fight, those guys, you can walk across the street and you can make a fight. That's the case. But it's also something here as well. If you have guys that are everybody is fighting top level competition. and they're making good money fighting top level competition, and you're not fighting you're not fighting, and the other guy's not fighting top level competition, there is nothing unreasonable about people saying, look, man, when are you going to fight somebody? Why do you get to sit around and just wait around for everybody else to continue when they're fighting each other, and for you to stay right in your comfort zone fighting guys that everybody knows that you're going to beat, and then expect to be named the top fighter in boxing? And that is the bit of the quandary that Terence Crawford is in. As you note, I am calling Terence Crawford the #1 pound for pound fighter. The people that are actually using Terence Crawford's name to blast at the PBC are talking about how unfair it is that Terence Crawford, that they just won't bend over and give all leave Fox, all leave Showtime, and run over to ESPN so that Tim Bradley can call the fights. They're not calling Terence Crawford pound for pound #1. They're having him listed up underneath Monster Inoue, and listed underneath Vasily Lomachenko, and listed up underneath Canelo Alvarez. The people that are actually saying, hey man, Bud, fight Shawn Porter, are the guys that in the ring are giving Terence Crawford the most credit. So I just find it's just an ironic situation. Let me know what you think in the comment section and how this should play out. And with that, I'm out. Peace.